Yes, good morning, students. And now we are going to start a new chapter that is wind, storms, and cyclones. So, in this chapter, we will see some various phenomena that are happening, and we will see some various experiments and activities. So, let's start our class. And I hope this lesson will be very interesting for you as it is filled with different types of activities. So, now let's start first, and there are some pictures also. Now, coming to the first picture. So yes, what you can observe in this picture. Okay, in the first picture, there is a flat tire, right? Okay, means this tire is not having any air in it. You can write your answers in the chat box also. This tire is not having any air in it. Okay, what about it now? What are we doing in the second picture? Yes, what are we doing in the second picture? With the, yes, what are we doing in the second picture with the tire? Yes, we are filling air into it. And what happened after we filled air? The tire does not remains flat as it is in first picture. Means it has gained its shape. Okay. So now we can see say that from these pictures we can say that how air can change the shape of certain things, right? Because it is applying some pressure on the tire. That's why its shape changes. So we can say that air has some pressure in it. So we will see some more examples now as we move on ahead. So yes, let's see another example. Okay, so in this diagram, what you can see. Okay, we took a can and we took some boiling water into it. We boiled some water into the can. And what we did was, after boiling the water inside the can, we put some cold water outside it. And what happened then? Is the shape of the can changed or not? Yes, the shape of the can changed. And why did this happen? Because air has some pressure. Yes, you all are right. We will see the actual reason in the coming explanation. First, it happened due to the air pressure. Yes, very good. Now I think you are somewhat clear what we are going to study now. That how air causes the pressure, right? So let's begin our explanation now. Okay, so let's see. So air is invisible gaseous substance. It is invisible gaseous substance surrounding the earth, right? It surrounds the whole earth in the form of atmosphere. A mixture mainly of which two gases are main in the air? There are oxygen and nitrogen. Like oxygen, I think like nitrogen is present in a very large amount, like 78% or something. Oxygen is 21% something, and then 1% is other gases. So these are the composition of air. So which two main gases are present in the air? That are oxygen and nitrogen. And air is surrounding the earth in the form of what? In the form of atmosphere. Yes, very good. So coming on to the second point, air pressure is the force exerted on a surface by air. Just as you saw these two examples, which caused in both of these examples, there was the change in shape of the object due to the air pressure. And if this air pressure exerts a force on the object, the surface of the object. So this is the explanation all about. We will move on ahead and let's see. Now there is some curiosity question. And what is this? Like what would happen if air around us does not move? Okay, if it will not move, then what will happen? Then I don't think we will be able to feel the air, or you can write your answers in the chat box. We will discuss it later on. I will give you 5 seconds. You can write your answers in the chat box and then we will move on ahead. Okay, we will not be able to feel the air. And some are saying that then it will not change the shape also. Okay, it may happen. Yes. So yes, you all answered it correctly. So now we will move forward. Okay. So now there is a question. Air pressure is the force exerted on the surface by air. Is it true or is it false? I will give you 5 seconds. Till the time you have to write your answers in the chat box and then we will discuss the right answer. Okay, I'm still waiting for your answers. Yes, so most of you answered it correctly. It is true. Yes. So I think you are now clear with the concept, right? So now we will move on ahead. and we will see a small activity about air. It is related to air, right? Okay. So coming to the next activity, what is happening here is like a boy is holding balloons, right? These two balloons, as you can see, a boy is holding these two balloons. And what he's doing is he's blowing air between both of these balloons. And what is happening is these balloons, they move apart, like they move like this, apart from each other, if air is blown into it. So why do you think so? That why they are moving apart and not closer? Any idea from your side? Okay, you can write it in the chat box. Okay, happens because the wind speed, because it is very his speed, like his the wind coming from his mouth is very fast and it is pushing both the balloons. Yes, you all answered it correctly. Okay, so now we will move on to the second activity. Let's see. So you have to remember the word wind speed that you just mentioned. In second activity, what is happening? Okay. So yes, what is happening in the second activity? That a man is blowing air in a certain pipe-like structure, right? And what happens in the second figure? The object, it changes shape and it moves towards forward. So what both of these activities are showing about wind speed? Yes, that if a wind is having certain speed into it, it will give the object a direction also. So yes, now we will be studying about wind speed. So let's move ahead and we will see some more details about wind. So yes, coming on to the explanation part. So let's see, air moves from a region where air pressure is high to the region where air pressure is low. So air moves from which region to which? Air moves from a region of high pressure to a region of low pressure. And increased wind speed is indeed accompanied by reduced air pressure. So this is a very important point. The second point, both of these points are important, but the second point is more important. So what is the second point saying? That increased wind speed, you have to remember, increased wind speed is indeed accompanied by reduced air pressure. So yes, this was all about air pressure and wind speed. So we will now move on ahead and see some more details, right? So now there is a curiosity question for you. So how does the paper plane fly now? What do you think? We just studied so many things. Now, what do you think is the reason for the paper plane to fly? Okay, I can see your responses. You can write your responses in the chat box and then we will discuss. Okay, some of you are saying it flies due to the difference in the air pressure. Okay, yes, very good. It flies due to as some areas are having lower pressure, some areas having higher pressure of air. Okay, yes. So yes, you all answered it correctly. So this is the main reason for the airplane to fly, for the paper plane to fly, right? So now we will move on ahead and come into the question. So this is the question and you have to write your answers in the chat box. The question is, increased wind speed is indeed accompanied by a reduced air pressure, increased air pressure, any air pressure, or more air pressure. So I will give you 5 seconds. You have till then you have to write your answers in the chat box and then I will tell you the right answer. Okay, very good. I can see the right responses. So yes, the correct answer here is reduced air pressure. Okay, so are you all clear with the concept, what we all studied till now? Yes, then we will move ahead. And if you have any doubt, you can write in the chat box. We will clear it. Okay, so I think you all are clear with the concept. So now we will move on ahead and see some more pictures and some more activities. Through these activities, we will identify what actually is happening, right? So yes, again, there is an activity. What happens in this activity is we took a glass, right? We took a glass and a balloon is tied in a test tube. And this test tube is having hot boiling water, right? The balloon is tied over the neck of the boiling tube. The boiling tube is immersed in hot water. Okay, so boiling tube immersed in ice cold water. So what will happen? First, we are like immersing this. There is nothing filled in the tube. It is just we are changing the glass of water. First, we are putting some hot water into the glass, and then we are putting the cold water into the glass. Like here it is cold water, and here it is hot water. And this is just the tube, right? It is just the tube. So, what will happen according to you to the air balloons? Yes. Any guesses from your side? Okay. So now I think you all are confused. Like what will happen? So now we will move on ahead and see that what actually will happen. Okay, so this is the diagram. You have to observe it for 5 minutes, like what, not 5 minutes, like 30 seconds, and then you have to explain like what happened in this activity. Till then I will wait. Okay. Yes, what is happening? According to you, what is happening? Hmm? Okay, so let's see what is happening, right? Okay, so in this, what we did was like here, how is the structure of balloon? It is, there is no air present, right? No air, no air is present. But here, if we like, if we put it in a container, like here we are giving, we are boiling the water, and then we are seeing that this balloon, it rises up, right? This balloon, it all rises up, and it fills with air inside. So what we can say is the heated air, as this heated air inside this bottle, as there was air inside this bottle, and when we are heating the container, the air also gets heated and it gets expanded. And when it expands, it fills up the balloon and balloon gets inflated. So this is the main activity. And this is what we are going to study, that heated air, it expands, right? So this is our third topic for today. Okay, so now we will see some more activity. So yes, the heated air not just expands, it also, one more thing happens to the heated air. And what is that? Like here, as you can see, we are heating the air in this container. So what is happening? Like here it was on the same level, but what happened here? It starts to rise. This container is starting to rise, right? So what we can conclude about hot air, that hot air rises up, and cold air, it sinks downwards towards the earth. Because what we can say about the weight of the air now? So hot air is lighter, that's why it rises up. As the cold air is heavier, so it sinks to the earth. So this is what the conclusion that we can take from both of these activities. So now we will see some additional details, right? Okay, so let's see. So first is air molecules expand on heating and contract on cooling and expand on heating. So this is a very important point that you have to remember. And hot air molecules take more space than cold air molecules, right? And warm or hot air is lighter than the cooler air. And warm air like smoke rises up and the cool air settles down. Why? Because the warm air is lighter. That makes it to rise up, upwards towards the sky. And cold air is somewhat heavier in weight. So that's why it settles down. So this is the main reason for the warm air to rise up and the cold air to settle down. So yes, are you all clear with the concept? Like what happens when air is heated? Yes. Okay, I can see your responses. So now we will move on ahead and coming to our curiosity question. So what or how does the hot air balloon works now? Yes, the last line that we just discussed now, that line will help you in identifying the answer to this question. You can write your answers in the chat box. I will give you 5 seconds and then we will discuss. Okay, I can see the right responses. Yes, as you know, the hot air balloon is having hot air into it, right? In the balloon. So what is the property of hot air? That it is lighter in weight and it rises upwards. So that is the reason why the hot air balloon, it rises towards the sky and it works. This is the main reason for hot air balloon to work. Okay, so now I think you are clear with the concept. So now there's again a small question like, what happens to the air when we start heating it? Yes, what happens? You have to write your answers in the chat box. Yes, you all answered it correctly. It expands. So yes, it expands, right? So yes, I think now you are all clear with the concept that what we studied today. So coming on to the recapitulation part, let's see what we studied. We studied about the air pressure. We studied about the high wind speeds, right? And we studied about like how air expands on heating. So now coming on to the homework part, these are some of the questions that you have to solve and write your answers in the notebook. And then there is a small activity that you have to perform under a supervision, right? So it's all for today. If you have any doubt, you can ask right now in the chat box. If no, then we will end our class here. Okay, I will wait. I'm waiting for your doubts. Okay, so I think you have no doubts. That is good to know that you understood everything. If you have doubt, you can ask in next class also. So yes, thank you students for participating, and we will meet in our next class with some interesting videos and with some interesting activities. Okay, thank you.